So a couple housekeeping items. I want to make sure that we are all aware. There is the chat feature. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those questions in the chat. Also, if you don't mind, please keep your microphone muted for the time being. But if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask those questions during the presentation. If anyone would mind, I think you are able to give like a thumbs up, but if you can see my screen, I just want to make sure that everyone has the ability to actually see the PowerPoint presentation. Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. All right, we will go ahead and get started. And if anyone joins us, we'll just catch them up as we go. So now that you've been admitted to Idaho State University, there are a couple things to kind of be working on, those next steps. So some of those next steps are going to be claiming your ISU Bengal Web account. We want to make sure that you have access to Bengal Web, whether you are for sure coming to Idaho State or if you're still kind of deciding between a couple different schools, because claiming that ISU Bengal Web account is how you're going to get access to everything else. It's going to be how you get access to applying for scholarships, applying for housing. It's going to be also how you can go in and check on your financial aid status and learn out a lot more about different things that you need to be working on as a student before you get here as taking classes. We want to make sure that you invest in your, we want to make sure that you go in and you apply for those scholarships, you apply for financial aid, both scholarships here at ISU and then also other scholarships. We want you to apply for on-campus housing if you are considering living on campus. Of course, it is not required for freshmen to live on campus, but it is an option, and it's a great option at that. Students that live on campus, they're going to be a little bit more involved on campus, statistically speaking. They're going to potentially do better in their classes because they're a little bit closer to those classes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a morning person. So it was nice when I lived on campus.
Yeah.
And make sure that I my classes on time. We also want you to RSVP or register to attend new student orientation. So new student orientation is going to be a great way for you to learn more about campus and all of the different resources available to you. We want you to come and visit campus, whether you've been on campus before for personal reasons or you've come for an official visit. Once you're admitted to Idaho State, we want you to come back to campus. We want you to see exactly what it is that you can do once you're a student here. We also want you to connect with an admissions advisor. If you have any questions once you've been admitted, make sure that you connect with those admissions advisors so that way you can get any assistance along the way. We're going to go ahead and start a quick video on how to claim your Bengal Web account. Like I said earlier, your Bengal Web account is going to be how you access everything at Idaho State University as a student. It's going to be how one day you'll register for classes. It's going to be how you'll go in and apply for scholarships. So we're going to start this quick video so that way you guys can see everything on how to claim your account.
This video explains how to claim your ISU account using the Identity Management System. The Identity Management System is what verifies your username and password before letting you into secure systems like Moodle and Bengal Web on ISU's campuses. In order to log into any of those systems, you will first need to claim your ISU username, set up a password, and answer some security questions. You will receive an email from iam@isu.edu. This email will have a subject line of claim your ISU account. This email will come to your account claim email address. When you open the email, you will see instructions on how to claim your ISU username and set up a new password. Copy the account claim code, and then click on the claim link to open the password and account management portal. First step will be to enter your user information. This screen verifies your identity before setting up your account. You will enter your account claim email into the account claim email box. Where it says account claim string, you will need to paste in the sequence of numbers and letters that you copied from the original email. Where it says date of birth, enter your date of birth in the correct format. You'll need to click on the CAPTCHA box to indicate you aren't a robot, then click submit. This will take you to the next screen. The next screen asks you to review and accept the terms of use. If you want to click on the link, you can see what the policies are. When you're ready to accept them, click accept. If you click decline, you will not be able to complete setting up your account. Step 3 shows you your ISU username. Click next. Step 4 is where you set up the security questions. The system will ask you to answer 5 security questions. When you've chosen and answered those 5 questions, you can click on Submit. These questions are used if you ever need to reset your password. If that happens, the system will ask you to correctly answer 2 of the questions. We ask 5 questions here so that you have a bank of questions if you're unable to answer the first 2 questions correctly. If you want to choose different questions, just click on the pencil icon to the left of each question. There are 25 different questions you can choose from. Click on Show Answers at the bottom to see what you typed in. You'll be able to return and choose different questions and submit different answers in the future if you want to. When you're done setting up all 5 questions, click Submit. Step number 5 asks you to create and confirm your new password. You need to make sure that the new password conforms to the password rules. You'll need to type it in twice and then click Reset Password when you're done. If the passwords match, you'll get a message saying you've successfully reset your password. If they don't match, you'll get a message asking you to re-enter your password. If your chosen password does not meet the password rules, it won't be accepted and you'll be asked to enter a password that does meet the rules. The screen will display which rules your password did not meet. Once you are done, your account has been claimed and set up, then you will be able to access all other secure systems at Idaho State University. If you need any help, contact our service desk. Just click on the Tiger Tracks link in Bengal Web or call them at extension 4357.
Alrighty, perfect. So with your account claim, remember that your account claim email is the email that you used when you applied to Idaho State University. It's going to be the email address that you received your initial admissions email from us about. Make sure that if you have been admitted to Idaho State, but you have yet to see that account claim email from the iam@isu.edu, that you check both your inbox and your spam folder, because it does have an active link in it. Oftentimes our email servers tend to think that it's spam, so make sure to check that spam folder. But if you have any questions or still cannot get access to Bengal Web, even after you've checked your email, to get in contact with our IT department, so that way they can resend that account claim email and help you through the process. All right, the next step is going to be applying for FAFSA. Now, it's important that every student applies for federal financial aid. Whether you think that your family will qualify for grants or not, some scholarships are going to require that you've filled out a FAFSA. So it's important, regardless of what you think you might qualify for, that we do create that FAFSA, that we do submit that FAFSA. Creating FAFSA and submitting a FAFSA can sometimes be pretty stressful. If you ever have questions, you can always reach out to an admissions advisor or our financial aid office, and we can help you through the process. But if you are new to the college going process, you are going to have to start by creating an FSA ID. Now, if you are a dependent student, so meaning that you are under the age of 24, you do not have a child of your own that you support more than 50%, you are not married, and you are not under the guardianship of someone other than your parents, then your parent will also need to create an FSA ID. Beginning the FAFSA process is on their website. It's going to ask for tax information. If you are a student coming to school for the first time in the fall of 2022, you are going to need tax information from 2020. If you are a student that is going to be starting school in the spring of 2022, you're going to need your 2019 tax information, so that way they can verify your family income and estimate exactly what your family contribution is going to be. But FAFSA is how students qualify for grants. It is how students qualify for federal work study, which is an on-campus job that can help pay for some of your schooling. It gives you a paycheck every 2 weeks. It's also going to be how you qualify for federal student loans. We also want you to go in and we want you to apply for scholarships. Once you have access to your Bengal Web, you'll navigate over to the Student Finances tab, and there you will find a link for the Bengal Online Scholarship System. We like to refer to it as BOSS. The BOSS system houses hundreds of scholarships for students to apply for. These scholarships are both internal, meaning that they are for ISU students and ISU students alone, but we also have an external side of the Bengal Online Scholarship. With the internal side of the Bengal online scholarship system, students are able to create a common application that's going to help match them to scholarships that the system thinks that you might be a great candidate for. It helps save some time weeding through those 15 pages of different scholarships, so that way you can find the ones that are appropriate for you. The external side of the system, we do not own, manage, or operate those scholarships or make the awards, but we did verify that they are real scholarships. They're not going to steal your identity or drain your bank account or anything along those lines. So you can go in with the knowledge knowing that those are real scholarships for you to apply for. For in-state students, I do encourage that you check out the Idaho State Board of Education website and check out their scholarships. They have scholarships such as the Idaho Opportunity Scholarship. You do have to have a FAFSA completed in order to apply for the Idaho Opportunity Scholarship. But they also have the Governor's Cup. They have some different scholarships for students who have completed dual enrollment credits and those types of things. There are also going to be some additional web scholarships available on the Next Steps website for the state board. For our out-of-state students that might be tuning in today, make sure that you're also looking for local scholarships from your community. Those can be sent to Idaho State and help with your education. Idaho State does allow you to stack scholarships. So whether you've received some recruitment scholarships, as well as some local scholarships and maybe some scholarships from the state, you can add all of that to help with your total cost of attendance. Now, if you've been awarded any of our automatic recruitment scholarships, so for our out-of-state students, if you are being considered or have been awarded our Western Undergraduate Exchange or WUI, if you've been awarded a non-resident tuition waiver, or if you've been awarded any of our in-state recruitment scholarships based off of GPA or transfer students, you do need to go in and accept those scholarships no later than May 1st. We want you to apply for on-campus housing. Like I said earlier, it is not required for freshmen to live on campus, but it is highly recommended. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, you're centrally located. I said earlier, I'm not a morning person. If I ever had a 9 a.m. class, it was really nice that I lived on campus. I could roll out of bed, throw on a pair of slippers, run across the street, and I could be in class within 2 minutes. We also find, statistically speaking, students that live on campus, they do a lot better in their classes. There's a few reasons for that. One, they are using more of our resources. Idaho State offers free tutoring for any class that you're enrolled in. So we find that those students that are living on campus, they tend to actually use the math center and the writing center. They do request that they have an individualized tutor for a class that they're taking. When students tend to live off campus, they kind of tend to feel like they can go it alone. So they're not using those resources. We also find that students get more involved when they are living on campus. They join more clubs and organizations. They participate in more events across campus. So overall, they're having a better experience. So they're enjoying their time more. So they're doing better in their classes. It also, for those of you that might not be coming here knowing anyone, I'm originally from Southeast Alaska. I moved to Idaho State, or moved to Pocatello back in 2013. So living on campus immediately gave me that initial connection with my roommate and other people on my floor my very first day on campus. We want you guys to register for new student orientation. So there have been quite a few questions that have come into the chat feature about new student orientation. There's going to be a couple different parts to new student orientation. The first part is pre-orientation. This is accessible on Bengal Web under the University Resources tab. There's 2 portions that you have to complete as pre-orientation. The first is an ISU module. It's going to walk you through a lot of the different resources available to you on campus, like how to schedule an appointment at the health center, or how to connect to the Bengal Wi-Fi, how to get access to Moodle, how to request a meeting with an academic advisor. The second part of pre-orientation is going to be Safe Colleges. So that's a nationwide mandate that we participate in for students to go through and just acknowledge the different safety factors that we want you to abide by, so that way we can ensure that you're being safe while you're here on campus. But new student orientation does take place before you start school. It is a great way for you to learn about campus resources, take campus tours. You will meet with an academic advisor during new student orientation, so that way we can get you registered for your classes. I know my biggest fear when I was going off to college is that I would be ready for graduation one day. I would request to graduate and they would tell me that I forgot one class, like a communications 1101 course or something along those lines. So meeting with those academic advisors, making sure that you've developed your academic plan, whether you're planning to be here for 2 years, 4 years, or even longer. So that way you kind of know exactly what your next semester and your next years after that are going to look like. They're going to help make sure that you have all the right classes. If you're transferring credits from either dual enrollment or if you're transferring credits from another institution, they can help make sure that we're not having you take the same class twice. Again, this is another great way for you to make connections with other new students across campus. At New Student Orientation, they have a lot of events and fun activities for you to connect with students from all across the globe, students that maybe aren't going to be in your major that maybe you wouldn't meet otherwise. So we really encourage our students to register for New Student Orientation. There are additional programs that you can also consider joining once you've been admitted to Idaho State. The first is going to be the University Honors Program. So Idaho State University, we do offer the honors program. Students have the choice to either choose from an honors distinction, which shows up on their transcripts when they graduate, or an honors degree. We offer the only honors degree in the state of Idaho. The difference between a distinction and a degree, a distinction requires 19 credits of your college credits to be in honors level courses. The honors degree requires 32 credits as well as an honors thesis. Being in the honors program, you do have to apply to that program separately. They admit 100 students into the honors program each year. They have additional scholarships for honors students. They do have priority class registrations. They're one of the first on campus to get to register. They also are able to participate potentially in more research opportunities, community service opportunities. And it was a really great program for students who are maybe wanting to get a little bit more out of their education or wanting to dive a little bit deeper into their education. We also offer Bengal Bridge. This is a separate program that students will need to apply to as well. Bengal Bridge is going to be the summer before your freshman year at Idaho State. Students that are on here that are going to be starting for the fall of 2022, students can start Bengal Bridge in the summer of 2022. They have the ability to finish 9 college credits during Bengal Bridge. It is a 7-week summer program. It's $65 per credit hour instead of the standard $402 per credit hour. And so it gives you a really great advantage and a head start on your education. While you're in Bengal Bridge, you do have the opportunity to live on campus at a discounted rate, also having a meal plan, and you are able to have more connections with advisors, tutors, kind of as a great way to kind of segue you into your freshman year before the craziness of the fall starts. Like I said earlier, we want you guys to come and visit campus. Idaho State University offers individualized campus visits Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Your campus visit is completely tailored to you. If you would like to come and meet with an admissions advisor like myself to talk exactly about what scholarships might be beneficial for you, exactly what programs might be beneficial for you, and see exactly what is here for you at Idaho State, you can do that. You can go on a campus tour with one of our student ambassadors where they'll take you all around campus, show you our important buildings, take you inside of some of those buildings. They'll talk about where some of your classes might be held, and they'll also give you a little bit of that student perspective, things that they've participated in, things that they like to do in the evenings after their classes are all done. You also have the ability to tour housing, so you can see our couple different housing options that we have here on campus, and you can meet with a department. So if you know what you want to study, or if you're still maybe bouncing across a couple different ideas, you can go in and you can meet with those departments. You can talk with faculty, potentially some current students from that department as well, and see if it's going to be a right fit for you. When you come for a campus visit, we do provide lunch, so we'd love to have you guys come on campus and spend your whole day with us. You can scan that QR code at the bottom of the page, so that way you can schedule that campus visit anytime that's convenient for you. The last thing that I had talked about earlier is connecting with your admissions advisors. We have admissions advisors all across the state that are here and ready to help you. We have Jessica Miley, who's up in North Idaho. She is stationed up there, so she goes into the high schools and meets with students, but she can also meet with you individually virtually. We have Bianca Ridley and Tori Parks, who are both over the Treasure Valley. So if you have questions and you're in the Boise, Nampa, Caldwell area, you can meet with those admissions advisors on our Meridian campus or meet with them virtually. We have Cecilia McGowan. She is over our Magic Valley. She also spends some time on our Pocatello campus. So if you're coming to campus, you can meet with her, or you can also always schedule with her virtually. Morgan Betts, Kyle Peck, and myself, Alyson Vernon, we are over the Southeast Idaho region. Morgan specializes with the Southeast North, Kyle is Southeast South, and I work with Century High School students, as well as special populations such as non-traditional students, students coming back for finishing up their education maybe a little bit later on. And then we have Noah Mendenhall. He is our transfer student coordinator. So he works primarily with transfer students, and Kirby Shillette is over our international programs. Now, I know we talked about quite a few things today, so if you have any questions, you can always get back to this information on our website. If you go to isu.edu and you click on the admissions button, sorry, my box drawing on the computer is not the greatest, but if you click on this admissions tab, it will take you to our website that is full of a ton of great information. This website can also be translated into Spanish, so if that is more convenient for you, you do have the option to go in and read everything in Spanish. But the admissions website is going to have information about cost of attendance, scholarships, majors, but this tab here, the Next Steps tab, it is going to take you to a list of the 5 key next steps, such as connecting with your admissions advisor, claiming your Bengal Web account, applying for scholarships and financial aid, applying for housing, and registering for new student orientation. Thank you guys all so much. If you have any questions, we will continue to be on the presentation answering any questions. My coworker Jessica Miley is here as well, helping answer those chat questions, but feel free to unmute yourself to ask any of those questions or drop them in the chat. All right, one of the questions that just popped up in the chat was when to apply for housing for the fall of 2022. That's a great question. So Idaho State University, like I said, it's not required that freshmen live on campus. So it's also not guaranteed that we have space. So it's encouraged that students apply for housing earlier rather than later, just to ensure that they have space available. The housing application is open. It opened on October 15th. So if students have been admitted, they can go into Bengal Web, click on that University Resources tab, scroll down until they see the Apply for Housing button. When you apply for housing, it is going to ask you a general about you. They want to make sure that they're pairing you and a roommate, if you're going to have a randomly assigned roommate, that they're pairing you with the best person possible. It's also going to ask you what type of meal plan you might consider or you might want to have. If your meal plan needs to be changed at any point in time, you just have to contact our housing department. You're not necessarily locked into that meal plan that you choose at the time of the housing application. Another question about housing, you will have to wait until you've been admitted to Idaho State in order to apply for housing. So we need to make sure that you have submitted that application for admissions, sent in your high school transcripts, so that way we can get you admitted and then you can go in and apply for housing. One of the questions that just came through the chat is, do we allow pets in housing? So for students that are not, that have not coordinated with the Disability Resource Center, if students have a pet or an animal, like a service animal, they are able to have those on campus. But for students who have not coordinated or do not have a service animal on campus, the only pets that they allow are fish or things that if they were to escape their kennel or their cage or their tank, that might not survive. Yes, and Jessica did also mention there is an exhibit booth in the exhibit hall for housing. So you guys can also always connect with the housing department and talk about exactly what questions you have about housing and what our housing options are. So it looks like there's a question that we may have missed a little earlier, talking about minoring when you're majoring in another field. And absolutely, we can tailor your education to whatever you want it to be. That's why it's so important to meet with those academic advisors. I personally have a bachelor's degree in one of our health science fields, but I also have an associate's degree in American Sign Language and Deaf Studies. So I worked with my academic advisors throughout my entire college career to make sure that I was taking the correct classes and making sure that I was prepared for graduation for both that associate's degree and that bachelor's degree. Same goes for a minor. If a student is minoring in a program that's not necessarily correlated to their official major, you just have to make sure that you're communicating that with your academic advisors so that way they can develop your perfect educational plan. So one of the questions that came in is, if a student gets a loan or a grant, does that help cover the cost of housing, meal plans, etc.? It does. Housing, meal plans, textbooks and supplies, that all factors into your estimated total cost of attendance. So when you apply for FAFSA, it determines exactly what your estimated family contribution is going to be towards your education, and it will determine what you are eligible for. If you are eligible for full Pell Grants, if you're eligible for full student loans, if you get a lot of different scholarships, once your tuition is taken care of, the additional funding could go towards your housing, it could go towards your meal plan, it could go towards your textbooks and supplies. You could also end up with a reimbursement check at the end of, like, once all of your bills are paid. So that way you can use it for personal expenses like transportation to and from campus and that kind of stuff. One of the questions that just came in is about off-campus apartments. There are so many different options when it comes to living arrangements in Pocatello. We are a college camp, or like a college community, and so there are a lot of different off-campus apartments, or if students are interested in renting houses or renting a basement apartment that do allow pets. Most of the student housing complexes, they are not pet friendly, such as Bengal Creek, which is an off-campus, not owned by ISU, but student housing complex. But there are a lot of options near campus for students to have pets. If you guys still have questions, please feel free to continue to drop those in the chat feature or unmute yourself, come on camera and chat with us live. But that is it for the Next Steps presentation. Please head back to the exhibit hall, see other webinars that are happening today, go and communicate with other departments in their chat rooms, and ask any questions that you guys have. All of us admissions advisors are on today, so we can answer any questions that you guys have if you navigate to the Apply Now and Next Steps booth.